16th, 1862, Ida B. Wells was born in rural Mississippi as a slave. After being freed by the Emancipation Proclamation, Wells would lead a hard life. Orphaned at 14 by the yellow fever epidemic, Wells was forced to lie about her age in order to receive a teaching position in a one-room school. Eventually, in 1884, Wells moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where she held a teaching position in both rural and city schools, all the while continuing her own education in the summers at Fisk University. Just 3 years after moving to Memphis, Wells would make her first public stand for civil rights. When asked to move to this section for African Americans on a train, Wells refused and was taken off the train. She then sued and even won the case. After 3 men she knew were lynched, Wells began her campaign against the lynching of African Americans and a career as a prominent civil rights advocate. Wells frequently spoke out against the injustice African Americans faced after the end of slavery. During her later years, she would also become a voice for the suffrage.
America is supposedly a free nation, but how can we truly be free if we're getting lynched every day? Why is this awful slaughter permitted? Negroes are lynched to protect our womanhood. These are the words of John Temple Graves, the champion of lynching. He says the mob is the most potential bulwark between women in the South and the Negroes. Women are the excuse to lynch men, not the cause. It's a national crime that requires a national remedy. A white woman in Springfield, Illinois, had charged a black man on the count of assault. A mad mob went to the jail to attempt to lynch the man. They couldn't find the man anywhere, so they proceeded to burn the town to the ground. The victims were later lynched, and the woman retracted her statement after the police had found it to be false. Hundreds were left homeless, and all of this to lynch 2 men. Illinois was disgraced. The American identity is to live freely, living without the oppression of a dictator or ruler, a land of opportunity to change your life for the better. The ideals of democracy and freedom, that is the American identity, not having oppressors and rulers lynching Negroes every day.
Ida B. Wells used many rhetorics and influential techniques in her speech. The strongest mode of persuasion was logos. Wells used data cleverly to prevent skeptics from challenging her. Advocates of lynching were relying on vague, emotional arguments, not numbers, to make their case. And at the same time, it brought under scrutiny a practice carried out in secret and gave weight to an emotionally charged topic. In one of the most important paragraphs of the speech, Wells gives the argument using actual data on lynchings in one area. To this audience, those numbers were real people. In the 5th paragraph, as said, a partial record of lynchings is cited. 285 persons were lynched for causes as following: unknown cause, 92; no cause, 10; race prejudice, 49; gambling, 1; informing, 12; making threats, 11; keeping saloon, 3; practicing fraud, 5; practicing voodooism, 1; refusing evidence, 2; political causes, 5, etc.
Why is mob murder permitted by a Christian nation? What is the cause of this awful slaughter? This question is answered almost daily, always the same shameless falsehood that Negroes are lynched to protect womanhood. Standing for a Shekichua assemblage, John Temple Graves, at once championed lynching and apologist for lynchers, said, "The mob stands today as the most powerful potential bulwark between the women of the South and such a carnival of crime as would infuriate the world and precipitate the annihilation of the Negro race." This was the never-varying answer of lynchers and their apologists. All know that it is untrue. Cowardly lynchers reveal in murder, then seeks to shield himself from public execration by claiming devotion to women. But truth is mighty, and the lynching record discloses the hypocrisy of the lyncher as well as his crime.